Okay, let's get started. I think wonderful that you are all here on this great evening. I have a special guest, which I will introduce to you briefly. But first of all, I really want to welcome you. I think it's great that you're here this evening at 7 o'clock. It's dark outside in most places, and we're going to talk about transforming your life. We're going to talk about why dieting doesn't work and what are the things that you can really do. Now, before we go, I just wanted to welcome you and think that it's great that you're here. And I want to introduce a very special guest. I just have to see if the camera is working okay. Um, just 1 second. Well, I will ask Herman, can you change the camera so that people can see the TV screen? Because they cannot see Amanda. Just a little technical. He's on his knees now. Do you want to put it this way? Yes, and look who's here. Look who's here. I will introduce you to her. Um, Amanda Abagima. She will be in today's meeting as well. We're going to be putting her on the screen in a moment. She's a certified health and nutrition coach, and I've been working a lot in the past year with Amanda, and we're going to be doing this together. We're going to talk to you together. We're going to do it quite interactive. It's nice to see you all, so please turn on your cameras. That's really lovely. And let's get started. How do we interact? I think most of you have done Zoom before, so there's always the possibility to put it in the chat and ask questions. We'll try and do a short interactive presentation, about 20 minutes, and then we'll open up for questions, and then we'll go as long as the questions are. Afterwards, you will see a recording. There is a special gift at the end, but we'll talk about that. So for those people that stay in the end, we're going to do a draw for the 8 weeks program. But first of all, let me introduce Amanda and talk about the goals that we're going to do. So the goals that we're going to do tonight, I hope that you can see that. I can also put it on a larger screen. Hold on. That is this. What are the goals? We're going to talk about why diets don't really work, what the problem is, what it means talking about metabolic health. It's a word that you might have heard before, but we're going to explain that. We're going to talk about two fuels, about burning carbs, koolhydraten, and fat. We're going to talk about the benefits of being in both systems. And at the end, we'll talk a little bit about our health transformation program that we have available for you should you be interested. But first, let me introduce Amanda, and let me see if I can get her into the call. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Ben. Can you hear me?
I have to see why I can't hear you. Can everybody hear you? Can you hear
Hello?
Amanda? And can we get Amanda on the screen, Herman, please? Can you hear her? Because I cannot. I know you're talking, Amanda, but I cannot hear you.
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Super, super. Hello, hello. So
Hello.
welcome, Amanda. Lovely to have you here. I hope you can all see her. Amanda, will you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here tonight with all of you. Please let me know if you can't hear me correctly. So as Ben mentioned, I'm Amanda Abagima. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I work in everywhere because my job is online. I recently moved also in Barcelona, so that's why I can allow myself to be sleeveless. And so what I can say about myself is that on top of being certified and have a degree in nutrition is that I've been through this journey myself. So I know what is it to be unhealthy, to be overweight because I was overweight. And then over 5 years ago, I lost 50 kg in total myself. So it's like another person. So I lost 50 kg and I know what is the journey physically, mentally, and I know the struggle. So that helped me to be able to help people also because I've been through the same journey. And keto, low carb, all the sugar-free diet and way of eating really are the solution for your metabolic health.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Amanda. What Amanda didn't say, she's a mother of two, right? Two
Oh,
girls?
yes. Yeah, sometimes I like to forget about it.
She's a mother of two lovely girls,
Yeah.
and she's a great cook as well, and a wonderful inspiration for many people.
Mhm.
And as some of you might know, but maybe some of you don't, she speaks French, she speaks Dutch a little bit, and she speaks English. So she's very, very European, and lovely to have you here. So let's get started. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat, and we'll try and answer them. But we're going to talk about the goals just briefly. So just to tell you, we're going to talk about diets and why alone they don't work. We're going to talk about the problems with diets, about metabolic health, about those two fuels, and then we'll end with talking about the health transformation. Now, I guess this would be first thing. Why do diets alone not work, right, Amanda?
Exactly.
Always challenging. And
Mhm.
we know a little bit about yo-yo dieting, and what do we want to share about that, Amanda?
That I think we all try. It doesn't even matter if we are big or small, we all try a diet because the main goal is to improve our health, and sometimes we do try the wrong diet, Ben. So
Yes, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
we do try a wrong diet. And why are they wrong? What do you think that they are wrong? I think you're the expert to explain it. I could tell, but I want to have your expertise.
Well, there is a typically a diet is all about restriction. So we're told,
Mhm.
okay, not more calories and so on. And the easiest way to understand that is if you basically say, okay, let's take in less food, then our bodies are very adaptable. And then we get to basically work and live and run on less fuel. If there's less fuel available, you can like compare it with your thermostat at home. If it's 23 degrees in your home, it's nice and warm, but you lose a lot of energy. If you turn it down to 18 degrees or 19, in the beginning you might be feeling a little bit cold, but at some point you get used to it. So if we restrict our intake of food, and if we don't change anything about our lifestyle or anything, then the moment we stop and we go back to what we were doing before, the body says, oh, finally, the time of starvation is over. Let's take in that food and let's make sure that we keep some just in case these hunger moments come again. So the biggest thing is that, first of all, if you reduce the intake, your body starts burning less energy. And the second thing is that if you restrict, if you limit yourself, then the moment that you are allowed to eat anything you want, then you also typically indulge yourself on much more. So it's really two things. One is restriction is not really something which is long-term feasible. And the other thing is if you lower your intake, your body starts getting used to it. And the moment it is there, it starts storing it. Is that also, Amanda, a bit how you see it?
Yes, and also, I mean, most of the diet, they are not sustainable. It's some things that we can do for a short period of time, but what we actually need to do is to find a way to do it for a long term. You can't drink cauliflower soup your whole life. You can't eat just what kind of silly diet exists. You can't eat just carrots the whole day for the rest of your life. This is not sustainable. You will get bored. You will not understand your body. And sometimes it can be even dangerous because you will be lacking on some vitamin and mineral. And this also can affect your mental health to eat always the same thing.
Yes, yeah, and that's what it says. It's talking about restriction, about the yo-yo effect. I'm just seeing one comment from Sabine. Sabine, is it okay that we talk in English? Can you follow? Please let me know if that is okay for you. And the yo-yo effect happens, and the mindset and the motivation. Mindset, of course, why do you do it? But motivation, as Amanda says, if you can only allow to drink carrot juice for the rest of your life, maybe that's not a sustainable way of looking at it. What I would like to do is talk a bit about metabolic health, right, Amanda?
Yeah, metabolic health. That's such a trendy word, metabolic health, but I love it.
Well, let's maybe explain what metabolism is, or metabolic health. Our
Mhm,
bodies are, in principle, energy converting machines. Our entire body, our brain, our whole system runs on fuel. And your metabolism talks about how good your body is at transforming whatever you take in into energy. And that is your metabolic state, or your metabolism, and how things work. So that food determines how much energy you take in. And certain energies are easier to use than your body. And it matters because if you only run on one type of fuel, this causes your body to malfunction, and you want to really live in both stages and have really a sustained energy. And what you hear, and what Amanda and I hear a lot from the people we work with, is that they say, I'm losing my energy, I'm gaining weight, I have less energy, I have less clarity in my brain. That's a good sign of your energy system not really working the way you would like. And if you can return to that state of metabolic health, then you can really have that energy, that brain power, pretty much no matter
mhm,
what age you have. And some indicators of metabolic health would be that you gain weight, especially around the waist, which
mhm.
is the first place, causing inflammation, causing a higher blood pressure. Um, we talk about things like insulin resistance and so on, increased cholesterol. But that's kind of the big thing, and that's why it's important. Is there anything you would like to add, Amanda?
Yeah, when we talk about fuel energy, so it's the same thing. So please also, if there's some word that you don't understand, just put it in the chat. We can take the time to explain. When you lack of energy or when you have inflammation, it can also explain himself by some eczema. A lot of people have eczema. The fact that you're not eating correctly can also lead to a lack of sleep, so you don't sleep well. On top of putting on weight, you are more hungry, so you always need to eat. So this is also like a sign that you're missing on fuel and energy. So we always see like the big picture of like, oh, I'm losing weight, I'm putting on weight, I'm tired. But there's so many signs, like if you have acne, also on your skin, if you're losing your hair, or your body is always talking. So when you have a symptom, it's your body giving you some information.
Thank you for that. Thank you for clarification. I see in the chat that someone says about the English word diet. Actually, if you look at the word diet, it comes from Greek, from dietika, and there it actually means nutrition plan. But over the years, for many people, diet has become something like, oh, I have to stop eating lots of stuff, and now I have to be very, very restrictive. But the original, that's why I prefer to talk about nutrition plan or lifestyle, whatever, rather than diet, because for many people, this feels really, really restrictive. Where do we go next, Amanda?
So we did talk about the metabolic health. So what is the benefit of changing fuel? So what you talk about fuel. So what are those fuel? How our body works? I know the answer, but I just want you to tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, what's interesting is that us humans, human beings, human species, we are actually designed to burn on two fuels. So we can burn carbohydrates, which the body makes glucose, and that's the energy to our cells. But if there isn't enough carbohydrates, then we switch over to burning fat. And evolutionary, this is very logical. You know, we didn't have a supermarket around the corner. We didn't go eat at a fast food restaurant 10 times a day. We didn't stop by a petrol station to buy another soda and a snack. No, we had times when we had food, and we had times when we had no food. And if our bodies could only live when we have food in the last 2 hours, we would never have survived. So as humans, the moment there is the resources of glucose, of carbohydrates are used up, and that happens about after a day and a half, about 2 days, then the body actually switches over to fat. So this is a very natural stage. This is not something unique or whatever. It's something that for humans we do, and it gives us the energy to go out to either hunt or go fishing or gather food and so on. The problem today is that we eat often 3 meals a day. We snack another 2, 3, 4 times a day, and it's always carbohydrates. And the moment we eat carbohydrates, the glucose levels go up, the insulin, which is used to process the glucose, goes up, and your body, in a way, gets, I like to call it basically glucose poisoning. But this causes inflammation. All this glucose and all this insulin that travels through your system actually starts damaging the system. And that's why it's really, really good that at some point we take a moment that we also go into this fat burning mode. And what you see is as your body switches from one into the other, that from the fat your body produces ketones. And this is a very, very clean source of energy. It goes directly to the brain. If the brain has a choice, it'll choose ketones if it has both available. So it's really good to be there. It's really good to switch from burning carbohydrates and using glucose as a fuel to burning fat, and to be in that state. And it's also something which, if you look at all the religions and all the cultures and so on, there has always been a period of the year when we do a fasting. If we fast, then we don't take in any new fuel, and then we use up what's stored. First of all, we use the storages of the glucides, which is the glucose carbohydrates that are stored, and then we switch over to burning fat. I don't know if any of you have maybe done a fast, but if you do fast, if you do not eat for a certain length of time, there's always a moment that you are really exhausted and that you think, oh, I have no more energy, it stops, I got to go eat something. But if you then get through that, and that can be like half an hour, an hour and a half, or whatever, if you get through that, then your body says, oh, wait a minute, I remember I have to go to fat burning mode, and it switches over. And that is the moment when you have no hunger, when you get lots of energy, and when your brain starts firing up, and you really can go on and on, which is an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Especially that one thing for sure is that our body loves sugar because it's the first source of because it's the quickest source of energy to take. So our body is lazy. So when you give him sugar, he will be like, oh, I'm taking sugar. I'm going to leave the fat staying in the fat storage. That's what happened. That's also how you build up fat in your body and then you put on weight. So, and that's also the reason why you love the sweet, you know, the sweet when it was the time of the caveman. The sweet, or even when you're a baby, sweet is comfort. It means also that it's not dangerous. It's funny, but sweet, the taste of it, it means that it's not dangerous, but it's really tricky. And the issue is not like the carbs himself, is the amount we eat. So much carbs every meal. People, in every meal you will eat carbs. And one of the question was that one of the person in the comment now say that she would like to live without carbs. You still have carbs in your veggies, you still have carbs in some places, but it's not like the big amount of carbs that pasta, your oat in the morning, or your cereal, your bread, your chocolate bar, or whatever. It's just that we eat too much carbs. That's the issue. And if you eat too much carbs, and like I say, the sugar, our body like to use the sugar because it's a quicker source of energy, but so you're not using your fat storage. And the goal is really to go to our fat storage to use that new energy that is more sustainable.
Absolutely, that is so true. And I think, yeah, learn how to live without carbs. What's interesting and what I've learned over the years is actually carbs are non-essential. So you could live from eating zero carbs
Mhm.
because your body produces the glucose it needs itself. So you do need fat and you do need protein, but carbs actually you don't need. But it's still okay to do carbs. The thing is, as Amanda put it, that it's really the excess and the continuous, we eat something an hour and a half, we take a snack, we go to the next. Every time we have this dip and then it peaks up and this goes on and on and on and on. So that's really where the issue are. So it's valuable to spend time in fat burning and spend time in this fat burning mode to help your body to clean up and help your body to also use that energy source. And you will see that when you experience that you have much more steady energy flow. And many people, if they eat and an hour and a half later, their energy drops, and you have to eat again. And when you're in this fat burning mode, this is actually not the case. You have satiety and you can go on for much, much longer and have much more balanced energy and have also much more balanced weight and not all these cravings and things. What's interesting is that nowadays there's so much research in what the benefits are of this fat burning mode that is even being used as what's called metabolic therapy for as an intervention for people to really have suffer health issues. Of course, overweight, yes, easy. Obesitas, but things like diabetes, cancer, whatever, they all have some component which is a metabolic component. Really interesting to go there. Where are we next, Amanda? I need to take a look.
So we're talking about burning fat. One of the questions that actually someone asked in the comment, it was like, how long does it take to go in ketosis? I think, like you mentioned, it can take 2 to 3 days, but it depends also of your health. It depends if you're in menopause. It depends of many factors. It's not like everybody will be in ketosis very, very quickly. But if you reduce your amount of carbs, you will have sign. So can you please tell us a bit about the blood sugar? So what is it? This blood sugar, insulin. Those words are quite very medical for someone that doesn't know anything and is just deciding today to take care of himself and to discover their body is very scientific. So what is it? What is the blood sugar? What is insulin? So what is the benefit of like having it stable? Tell us.
Okay, let me try and explain it. If we eat carbohydrates slash sugars, the body actually transforms that into glucose. So all carbohydrates, sugars and starches are transformed by your body into glucose. And glucose then goes into your bloodstream and that becomes the fuel for your cells. Now, there's one thing important, glucose alone cannot get into the cells. So your cells cannot use glucose as an energy source. It needs insulin. It needs a key to open the door. And this is where glucose and insulin come from. And that's a little bit of a difficult word, but that insulin, and people with diabetes 1, they don't produce insulin themselves. So they cannot handle the glucose. That's why they have to inject glucose. So carbohydrates and starches get translated into glucose, and together with insulin, they then knock on the door of the cells and the cells take them up. However, if you continue to have glucose and more glucose and more glucose, glucose goes up, insulin goes up, and at some point, your cells will say, "Oh, thank you, but I have enough energy. I'm full, I have enough." And then the doors shut. And what happens then is all this glucose and all this insulin is going through your bloodstream, and the body says, "Oh, what do I do now? The cells don't want it. Where do I do it? And it stores it. It stores it as fat. And it stores it as fat tissue. And because as long as it goes through your system, if it goes through your veins and your arteries and your whole system, it starts damaging the cells. That's what we call inflammation. Inflammation is pretty much damage to your cells and your tissue and so on. So to summarize, carbohydrates, which is starches and sugar and all of that, gets translated in the body into glucose. Glucose comes in, insulin joins, the cells take it up. The cells are full, then they say, sorry, no more, I've had enough, and the body starts storing it as fat. But in the meantime, all this glucose and insulin is traveling through your system and starts damaging your system. And that's why you see things like inflammation and damage to your system. And that can be all kinds of different ways. It can be headaches, it can be digestive problems, it can be eczema, it can be poor sleep, all these other things. It can eventually lead to diabetes. It can also be a source of causing cancer or mental issues or many, many other things. So that's part one. If you don't have the carbs, if you have less than 30 grams of carbohydrates, then your body doesn't have enough energy. And then it says, oh, I have no energy, what do I do? And it switches over to fat. And fat goes to the liver and then gets turned into ketones. So you have carbohydrates into glucose and you have fat turning into ketones. That's why people often refer to it as ketones, as being in ketosis, as following a keto nutrition plan or other things. That's where this word keto comes from. So it's not a fancy name, it's just a scientific name like burning glucose or burning ketones. And the ketones are very interesting because they don't need insulin, they go directly into the cells. And the brain loves it. It directly goes to the brain. That's why people who start burning fat, one of the first things they notice is they get more clarity. They say, hey, I have my energy back in my brain. So that's kind of, I hope it's not too technical. I hope it's understandable. And please tell me in the chat if this is okay. Are you following me or do you want me to elaborate a bit more? Is dit duidelijk of wil je dat ik nog ietsje probeer duidelijker uit te leggen?
Et
Please
si vous
tell me
avez des
if it's
questions en
okay.
français, et si c'est en français, n'hésitez pas aussi à écrire. On parle toutes les langues ici.
Oui, alors est-ce que c'est clair comment ça fonctionne? All clear, thank you very much. Dankjewel Natasha, merci. All clear, okay. So that's really why it's important and all of that. And we're going to be talking about that we've done a program for many years actually, which was an 8 weeks program. We've updated it recently and it's now called the metabolic health transformation. And I just want to spend a couple of minutes explaining to you what it is. We've created an 8 weeks program, which is an 8 weeks program. It includes a starter kit box with some food and things like that. You'll have access to a keto academy, and you have many, many other things. Just to tell you here, I don't know if you can see this. Let me just see if I can put the slide on. We have an 8 weeks program, so we've fully updated it with many new webinars, programs, documents, and so on. It's really fully packed in 8 weeks. And there we go much deeper into what we have been talking about today. And we take you along the journey of saying, hey, what is it? What are the foods that you should take? How do you do this? How do you learn how to read a label? What do you have to look for? We have recipes and so on. And we actually, somewhere in the 3rd or 4th week, we actually help you to make that switch and to make that metabolic switch and see if we can get you from burning carbs into this fat burning mode and then see how it goes. And then we optimize with you and we balance. And you will see how you will regain your energy and regain your focus. And then in the last 2 weeks, we really say, okay, this is quite interesting, but how do we actually get it to in such a way that you can sustain it? What have you learned? How can you use in day-to-day life? We have lots of practical tips. We have saying, how do you go when you go to a restaurant? What do you do with your kids? What do you do with your, I don't know, husband, wife, partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever? How do you do that? What do you look for? And how do you transition out of these 8 weeks in a way that you will actually have been able to make a long-lasting change? We have in the program easy to follow and fun educational videos. We have infographics, we have downloads, we have recipes, we have many to-dos. We even have some homework, which is kind of fun, you'll see. We have a quiz, so you can see where you're going on. So it's really a fully packed program, and I hope that you will like it. It comes
Mhm.
with a starter box to help you to really get started. This includes a granola, which is one of our best-selling products. It's a delicious keto granola. It's organic. It includes some fat. Why? Because if you change from burning carbs to burning fat, you have to learn also how to eat more fat. It's not all body fat to live on. It's also to eat some. We have some bread because many people like to have bread. So how can you have a bread that doesn't have all these carbohydrates? We have some electrolytes. We talk about why these are important, but these are really electrolyte and vitamins that are important that will help you. We have a meter, which you see here. And this is really the fun part because this is where you can actually measure if you are burning carbs or if you're burning fat. And we'll teach you. We'll teach you how to do that, and we'll teach you how that works, and provide all of that. Now here, I don't know. This is probably very small. Let me just see if I can make this a little bigger. So the 8 weeks program. In the past, we used to do it for several hundred euros a week with the coaching and everything. The box, the value, if you were to order it in our shop, it would be 162 euros. E-learning program to which you will have access and so on. And we'll also give you lots of discounts on our shop, which is the Keto Fit shop. Now, because we have completely redone the program, we are actually offering it for a special price of 178. And if you imagine that the box itself, I think, is 160, then you pretty much get the 8 weeks for 7 euros a week for 8 weeks. And you also get a money back guarantee. So if at the end of the 8 weeks you say, hey, Ben, hey, Amanda, hey, Go Keto team, this was really no good, then we'll refund you the money minus the cost of the box. So actually you have very little risk or very little to lose.
Mhm.
What do people say?
Mhm.
Some testimonials. We have many people who've done the program. As we said, we've updated it, we've improved it, we've made it more interactive, and I think you'll like it as well. We've really had some wonderful feedback in the past, and we're really excited about launching the program.
Mhm.
I think, Amanda,
Mm.
anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think above all, because you can see that you will be like, oh, there is so many programs, but it's the beginning of the year. We didn't want it to do it like on the 1st of January because we know that we all have plans. And then mid-January, we're like, oh no, maybe it's going to be for next month. So we wanted some things that happen that we do it in the middle of the month. So like this is not just the beginning of the month. We wanted some things that is going to transform your life. You will get new habits. That's the key to success is to have new habits, to have discipline in what you are going to do, and you will get also the motivation. So this material is very precious because it's going to be like a full training for yourself. So when people will ask you what you're doing, why you're doing it, or why you're eating like that, you will be able to reply because I'm feeling good, because I got the knowledge, and I'm actually enjoying what I'm eating.
Thank you so much. And you will see it's fun. We had lots of fun creating it and updating it, and it's going to be fun to do it. So if you're interested, at the end of the workshop, you will get an email with a link. You can sign up, and if you have any questions, you can also ask them to us. So
And
let's.
it's in all the languages, huh? It's not just
It's
in
in all the
English.
languages. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. It's actually you will see. It's been fun to do it in all the languages. We've recorded everything in English. It's subtitled in every language. but we've also created the videos in other languages with some AI tool. So you'll see me speaking French, Spanish, which I speak decently, but you can also hear me speaking Turkish or Italian and so on, which has been kind of fun to do that. But that's a side remark. For those of you that want to join us on the 8 weeks program, we're going to start it on the 18th. It's going to be fun. We'd love you to join. Remember, basically, you get the whole box, and then the rest of the program will cost you €7 a week. If afterwards you say, hey, Ben, this was no good, we'll obviously refund you the money for the coaching. If you do have a meter already, then let us know, and then we'll resolve that, and we'll find a way of sorting that. We'll put it all in an email. I want to thank everyone. This was fun. It was nice to see a lot of people. Amanda, thank you so much for joining.
You're
all the
welcome.
way
That was
from,
so fun. Thank you. And thank you for, I'm so happy to see you guys, like to see the faces. It's just so nice. I had such a fun.
all right. Thank you so much. Au revoir. Merci. Tot ziens. Bye bye. Dank u wel.